Jeff Sangpil. I've got decades in media technology, starting it back at ABC and going all the way into AI. Along the way, broadcast engineering, post production, systems integration, facilities build out. I've had CTO and high level engineering roles across post and storage, light iron, chainsaw, key code, Qualstar. Today I'm working as a consultant and fractional CTO as the post doctor. It's vendor neutral, focused on production, post infrastructure, live storage, asset management, expanding markets, and workflow integration. I've been involved with SIMPTE, HBA, SBE. I also publish and podcast under the Post Doctor.
And so I'm Evan Sandstrand. I'm the founder and principal at Varda Media Solutions. And Varda is a new, small, but growing little boutique operation consulting outfit. We're also a solution reseller and a solution builder as opposed to a traditional systems integrator. But what's unique about us is that we focus exclusively on non-broadcast clients. What we do is we try to help our customers build the kind of media operation that they truly need in order to meet the actual business objectives of creating, managing, and publishing the content without dragging them down that rabbit hole of traditional broadcast engineering. And those of you who know what I mean by that, you know what I mean by that. So speaking now of content reaching audiences, so what about reaching the next one's Gen Z and new audiences? How can the Content Factory help us doing that? And help us or the marketing teams reach these new whippersnappers?
And Gen Alpha's in that, they're coming up too. So I think the thing here is there's a baseline expectation for remix culture. They assume that anything that's content wise is going to be reused, referenced, built on. And if a team can't locate its own source footage quickly, if you can't find it, it's worthless. You're going to lose that cultural window entirely. And this also goes to it doesn't matter where the team is located or, the sensitivity to lag. The audience doesn't care how you work, only that the output is landed on time, on tone. And then you just got to make sure that if there's an error, you account for it publicly, especially if there's comments available on a video. People are going to blast you faster than corrections can catch up. So, and that's going to make the cost of each one of those errors pop up in versioning. And there's a expectation of what's called asynchronous responsiveness. This generation that we're talking about is online often, but predictably not at the same time as the team producing the content. So your workflow can't depend on everyone being available at the same time. And I think the other thing here is authenticity is going to be polish.
Yeah.
As long as you've got a clear, consistent point of view, it's going to outperform the committee-approved safe cut that came out of the conference room every single time.
Yeah, no, I think that last point is crucial, and my conversations with my own whippersnappers confirms it. And going back to a little bit to what we talked in the earlier segment about AI, it may look good technically, but the moment some of these audiences detect that, hey, this was actually machine generated, they just dismiss everything. And it hurts your brand, and it hurts that message conveyance. But on shall we say, the Content Factory has a lot of technology features that can help also with this. And first of all, it's like a single source feedback instead of scattered email, Slack, and PDF threads, etc. As you're making it, everyone's working inside of the same space. You have the ability to actually go in and with pinpoint precision work on frame accurate comments inside, so that you need to change this, I need to edit this and improve upon this, etc. That's possible using this kind of a factory. Searching that goes beyond just the file names, finding this stuff and making sure that, hey, this is tagged the right way so that it can be reused. Version control you mentioned, being able to work in a browser from anywhere, preferably with no VPN or those kinds of things. They tend to create problems. Whatever your storage strategy is, hybrid, cloud, on-premise, needs to. These solutions can work with this, and this is one of those areas where, when we build your content factory, we really do need to play on the same team as IT, because even though they may not own video operation, They know what network security is going to be, and we want to work with all this. And then permissions, making sure people only have access to what they need to, audit trails so you can track, automating handoffs between people, and so forth. There's a lot of different sort of feature points of a content factory that perhaps a lot of corporate video operations today are not familiar with because they work in unsuitable tools.
Yep. And each one of those things you just mentioned is a cultural problem.
Mm.
Each one of the fixes is an infrastructure answer. That's the whole thesis of what we're talking about here. There's ways to fix with technology the cultural and other problems inside of an organization's video stack. That's why we're here. So, in a time when fake information and AI generated slop are everywhere, how is a content factory going to help this out?
Protecting the brand is of ultimate importance to any kind of corporation or organization. Without a trusted brand, your business is at risk. That's just a fact of life fact of doing business today. And the only way to this is a little bit of a social commentary, I suppose, but the only real way to combat viewer fatigue is to create authentic content. And it's like we can't combat it by creating more fake content. The incoming generations tell us that, all research tells us that, and the fact that one guy can sit and AI generate 600 books and have them published on Amazon in a few months means that we can't keep up with that. So this content that you're generating needs to be verified as to coming from an authentic source, like locked down, understood. There's an initiative out there. It's an industry-wide project with all the big players, Meta, Microsoft, Google, and a whole bunch of others, and then a whole bunch of other smaller tech manufacturers, publishers, etc. And they have developed together something they call C2PA, the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. And that initiative provides a technical standard for publishers, creators, and consumers, so that anyone at any point in the factory or the delivery chain can go and see, where is this content coming from? Is it generated by an AI source or a reputable source, for instance, a company, a newspaper, or even see what camera it's coming from? Or was it generated by something synthetic? And very importantly, has it been modified along the way? And there are clever little mechanisms that will flag it in the video player that are being used, so that you can actually see that, hey, this has an issue. Hopefully this will help. But we need to train the next generation to use and appreciate this as well. But at the moment, it is the best initiative that's out there. It's not without its challenges, but it definitely is something I have a lot of hopes for. And the Content Factory needs to support this from the intake point to the delivery point. Anything that's under its purview, the Content Factory needs to support that C2PA standard.
Yep, and that C2PA credential follows it all the way through. And if the supply chain gets to a point where, oh, we're going to transcode this to XYZ format because we need that, and you lose that credential, it's no longer linked. Mm-hmm. You know that the provenance on the shot is there, but everything after that point, you've got no data on. So it's important to design the workflow properly to make sure that the fragile metadata doesn't get lost or trampled on in the process. It's not really a standards process. And, this entire brand protection with authenticity and provenance is going to matter more and more as we go forward. And the Content Factory is going to need those tools and processes that are going to support it end to end, like you were saying.
Yeah, and it connects back to the whole AI conversation. Provenance, being able to prove where your stuff is real, is actually the thing that is going to let you use AI in certain things, because you have the chance now to tell people, hey, you know what, I did fill in an artificial background behind the CEO because he stood on an office wall, etc. But otherwise, Everything else is authentic, and you can see that from these certificates that follow that.
And in the coming episodes, we'll be bringing some manufacturers and some integrators in. Let's show what we're talking about rather than just describing it. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons. And if you've got questions about the concepts around this, please hit us up in the comments, and both of us will have our contact information popping up shortly. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you very much, everyone.